Duchess, Glass Eyes Never Blink, by M.R. Ray. Chapter 1. Willy's accounting firm occupied the second floor of a low-slung building, sandwiched between a tire shop and a hair salon specializing in perms. Inside, the space was all short gray carpet, drop ceilings, and pressboard partition walls. The air was cold and smelled of copier toner. Willy's only company was a faint plumbing rattle and the steady tick of his desk calculator in cubicle 207. His lunch break started at 12:30, but he always waited until 12:38 when the kitchen was less crowded. He finished a batch of invoices and logged off. Carrying his Tupperware, cold pasta with diced hot dogs, he walked down the short hall, trying to avoid eye contact with two junior analysts. The break room was a box, one round table, 4 plastic chairs, and a soda-stained fridge. 3 co-workers sat at the table, a woman from payroll, the red-haired guy from audit, and a new hire who wore headphones even at lunch. Willy took the seat farthest from the window, placing his Tupperware on the laminate. He and Wanda had talked about a housewarming party. She wanted him to invite his friends. Willy didn't have friends. He had co-workers. Not wanting to disappoint Wanda, he gave it a shot. He cleared his throat, and the red-haired guy looked over.
So, Wanda and I are having a little housewarming next Saturday,
he said, his voice rising in pitch.
Hot dogs. Punch, if anyone wants to come by.
He set his fork down.
You're all invited.
The payroll woman nodded without looking up.
Thanks, Willy.
The red-haired guy gave a thumbs up, his mouth full. The new guy tugged one side of his headphones off and blinked at Willy.
Oh, cool. Where?
Willy gave the address. The new guy repeated it, then put his headphones back on. Silence returned. Willy took 2 more bites of his lunch before pretending to check his email. He stood, dumped the rest of his food in the trash, and rinsed the container under the tap. As he dried the Tupperware with a napkin, he heard voices behind him.
"That's him,"
a male voice said.
"The one with the wife, Wanda."
Another voice, female and lower, replied.
"She's a piece of work, huh?"
A muffled laugh followed. Willy stayed still, gripping the container. The voices receded down the hall, replaced by the buzz of the soda machine. He walked back to his cubicle. At his desk, he opened a pack of gummy bears and sorted them by color. He ate only the orange ones, spacing them out through the hour. He finished the afternoon without speaking to anyone. The drive home had been uneventful. When he arrived, he parked behind Wanda's sedan, which was crooked in the drive. The sun's reflection off her windshield strobed his eyes. He blinked away the spots, locked the car, and walked up 3 poured concrete slabs set at odd angles in the settling yard. The front door stuck as always. He had to put his shoulder to it. The air was thick with a musky heat, laced with the faint tang of aftershave he'd never worn. It clung to the room as if someone had only just stepped out the door. He closed the door behind him and stepped into the living room. Wanda stood at the kitchen's edge, hip cocked, one bare foot crossed over the other. She wore a short plaid skirt that barely brushed mid-thigh and a white top that clung to her chest, leaving her midriff bare. The outfit looked more like something from a costume party than anything she'd ever worn for him. She would say it was for him, but he knew better.
"Hey, handsome,"
she said, not moving from the doorway. She held a glass of white wine, condensation running down her fingers.
Hey,
he said, his voice flat. He dropped his keys into the bowl and glanced at the mantel. The cat was there, just left of center, its glass eyes level with his. Sunlight from the bay window hit the cat's fur, making it silver at the tips. Willy noticed the collar, a neat row of gold rings. Had there always been 10? He tried to remember, but the memory slipped away. Buster trotted in, nose down. He circled Willy's legs, then sat, haunches pressed to the carpet. He didn't wag or nuzzle, just kept a nervous eye on the mantel. Wanda sipped her wine.
You want a drink?
She jerked her chin at the fridge, then turned away before he could answer. Her bare heels made a slap on the floor as she moved. He followed. The kitchen was bright but not clean. The counters had crumb trails, and the sink was full of plates, some with the ghosts of dried ketchup. He opened the fridge, found a can of store-brand cola, and cracked it.
So,
Wanda said, her back still turned. She picked at something on the counter.
how was your day?
Willy shrugged, though she couldn't see.
Fine. Normal.
She half turned, one eyebrow raised.
Just fine?
He made a show of searching for a glass, even though he would drink straight from the can.
Some people at work are coming to the party next Saturday.
She made a sound, maybe a laugh, maybe just a clearing of her throat.
That'll be fun.
He drained half of the can in one go. The bubbles burned.
What about you? Do anything?
She tapped the counter with her wine glass, then looked past him out the window.
Just errands. Stopped by the mall. Got this shirt on clearance.
She tugged at the collar, showing more skin. He said,
It looks good.
but couldn't meet her eyes. Wanda smiled, her lips tight, then slipped away toward the living room, leaving a wine glass ring on the counter. Willy finished his soda, tossed the can, and wiped his palms on his pants. He followed her in, but not too close. He took the recliner, which sagged more every year. Wanda folded herself onto the couch, her legs tucked up, phone already in hand. He called Buster, who curled at his feet, chin down and ears flat. The cat still sat on the mantel, unmoving, but Willy could feel the weight of its stare. It was just a toy, he told himself, but the thought didn't stick. On the TV, Wanda watched a real estate show. She texted as she watched, her thumb moving in jerks. Willy tried not to notice. Cat's collar caught the light, and for a second he swore the head was tilted just ever so slightly, as if it was listening. He stared and then looked back at the TV. When he glanced again, the cat was in its original pose. Buster whimpered, low and quick, never taking his eyes off the mantel. Willy reached down, scratching behind the dog's ear. Wanda snapped her phone shut.
You're quiet tonight.
She said without looking up. He shrugged.
Just tired.
She snorted.
You're always tired.
He didn't answer. The TV droned on. The cat's eyes seemed to glow, though the sun had dropped behind the neighbor's roof. Willy felt watched, not by Wanda, not by the dog. He stared at the cat, waiting for it to move. The thought didn't soothe him, although he told himself it was just a trick of the glass. He stood, crossed to the mantel, and picked it up. The cat was heavier than it looked. The fur was soft, but the body was rigid, like there was metal or stone inside. He turned it over in his hands, checking for a seam or a tag. There was nothing. The collar shifted, and he counted the rings. 11. The number slipped away again, even though he tried to remember if that was right. He set the cat back down where it had been. He went back to his chair, keeping his eyes on the cat. Buster crept to his side, tail tucked. Wanda was still on the couch, glass empty, phone in her lap. The TV droned on. Wanda's phone slipped from her hand as she dozed off, the screen glowing blue against her thigh. Willy sat still, eyes fixed on the mantel. The cat stared straight ahead. Buster whimpered low in his throat. Willy eased up, careful not to wake her. In the bedroom, he shut the door, stripped off his clothes, and lay on the bed. He unlocked his phone, the glow filling the dark, harsh and unforgiving. A few swipes, and the screen pulsed with bodies, skin, motion, voices. He looked for his favorite topic, unfaithful housewives. As the images came to life on his phone, his libido stirred. His hand moved almost before he thought about it. The rush came quick, sharp, almost mechanical, but enough to quiet the knot inside him. When it was over, as he cleaned himself up, guilt crawled in to fill the space. Wanda was beautiful, more than he deserved, and she slept just feet away inside the living room. He could have touched her, reached for her, but instead he sat in the blue glow, spent and empty, wondering why it was easier to watch strangers than face his wife.
She knows.
The voice crept in, low and certain.